talk about today? Yeah. Is that the question?
That's exactly what I was about
Today's
to say.
question. Glad you asked, Craig. We are talking about brakes. Everything brakes. There's a lot of stuff that goes into brakes that a lot of people don't realize. Not that you really need them to realize, but maybe a little more understanding of the system itself might have you alleviate some problems and avoiding some of the heavy costs by ignoring some of the sounds and the some of the symptoms of a bad brake system or a problem within the brake system. So we'll start, like, if you're driving down the road, this is the most common thing that we get. You're doing maybe 60, 75 miles an hour. Everything's nice and smooth. You rest your foot on the brake to slow down, and all of a sudden it's like, so it goes, really it does too. So I'm not even doing it for effect. But a lot of times that is an indication that you have warped rotors, which is a excessive run out. And what happened is they get hot spots on there and the brakes are trying to apply and they're hitting high spots and low spots on the calipers. So this is what you get with that. You get this uneven wear. This is just for, this isn't one rotor that everybody gets all the symptoms on. This is the indication of an uneven rotor. That's what's giving you the high spots. That's what's giving you the vibrations. And, as you can see, they start to tear up the brakes. They get hot. It starts to warp. You get a lot of issues with that. So don't be fooled. Don't think it's a tire balance, because usually you get a tire balance shake around 55 to 60 without stepping on the brakes. That's when you just get like pulsing in the steering wheel or in your ass in the seat. So, but if you step on the brake pad, step on the brakes, the brake pads apply, and it starts to go against the rotors and you hit the high spots. So then you come into us and you get your brakes. Say, hey Fred, my brakes are shaking. What it is, so it's going to be warped rotors. We're going to have to replace the rotors because you cannot cut rotors anymore unless it's a heavy truck. Most rotors are made right on spec. If you get a new rotor, we'll micrometer it. We'll measure it right here. Say it's 0.750. You'll look at the spec of when it's made and what the legal requirements for discard is, and it might be right set 0.750. They're making them right on spec, so you can't cut them anymore, so you can replace them. But they have come down in price over the years, so it's not as crazy as it used to be. So we'll replace the rotors, always replace the pads with the rotors, and vice versa. I'm a big proponent of replacing. When you replace, don't just change and slap pads. Because what happens there, this is a new set of pads. When you measure them, we take them out of the box, we measure them, and they're usually like 13, 14, 30 seconds thick. That's a new brake pad. So you put a new brake pad over a scored rotor like this, you're going to get noise, whether it's a squeal, a grind, whatever. And what happens to these brake pads, because this looks like a grinding wheel or a record, it's going to rotate and just grind this down, as it's going around. This is what it should look like. Brand new rotor, or refinished rotor, which we don't do anymore, by the way. But if you do have a truck, you want to get the finish like that, because you'll get full friction right against that rotor. Because what will happen here too is across this, you'll see across this, there's little air gaps in there. So you're not getting 100% of the rotor. You might be getting 70, 80% of the pad contacting the rotor. And that's what's giving you the noise of the air rushing underneath there, giving you a squeal. So then you got this. This is step. This is from a brake rotor getting hot. There too. You put it on there. Brake rotor, I can look at it right here. If I can hold it straight, hold the pad on there. You'd have to close up on it. But it's not sitting flat. That's because it's stepped, because of the temperature. When it disseminated, it would warp, and then it's not going to sit right. So there's a lot going to it. This is now what happens there too. Also, when you get a caliper going bad, say this is your brake system. They're sitting inside the cradle. What happens is a caliper pushes on these and then releases. Pushes on these and then releases. That's how you stop. Or if you try to skid, you just clamp down on it. But so I didn't bring a caliper with me to show you that, but that's how they work. It basically pinches the rotor. It squeezes the rotors and slows them down. And if the caliper goes bad or a slide goes bad, what'll happen is that caliper will close, not retract, and it'll just sit there and tear up the rotor and overheat it. We've been seeing a lot of them, especially when the weather gets like this. The road salt and stuff gets in there and it freezes up the pins, freezes up everything else. So then you come in and we clean them up. To do the brakes, we clean everything up. We spray everything down, can take the bad parts off, spray everything down, get a lot of road and corrosion off. We use brake clean. You know, the brake clean, it definitely cleans everything off, gets all the brake dust and rust and everything that it breaks it up, and then we can drink it. It cleans ourselves on the inside too. So this thing fools everybody all the time. I love it. So now how a brake system works, I'll use my whiteboard here. The brake fluid sits in the master cylinder. It's got to be a sealed container because the fluid it's called aerobic. It'll absorb moisture out of the air if you leave it open. Plus, it's also a pressure sealed system. So what we fill it up. Wait a minute. So we fill it up with this, and we put it in there.
You fill it with that?
Yep, we fill it with that, and we put it right in the master cylinder. So, this is .3 brake fluid, by the way, not piss.
Oh, you scared me for a moment.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm training you. No, I'm not drinking that. I'll just stick to the brake clean. So, yeah, this is the master cylinder. This is the main heart of the brake system. These are the calipers that are at each wheel. Sometimes there's a splitter in here and two lines come off of there, but I'm not going to get all that technical. But what happens is when the brake pressure, you step on the brake, it pushes in and forces this fluid down to all these calipers. So that's what applies. And then when you let off, the spring pressure puts it out and most of the fluid goes all back. So it goes back and forth. That's why you have to have a sealed pressurized system. So now if one of these calipers seizes up or doesn't want to work anymore, it's going to grind and just tear it up, and then you have all these issues. So, that's just a basic system. There's other systems. You got anti-lock brakes. I'm not going to get into all that because that anti-lock brakes gets into that, and then it pulses the master cylinder and has a series of valves and stuff in the way, which activates these without locking them up. The old days, we used to have a lot of fun locking them up, skidding the wheels, pulling the brake up. I did in front of your house, Craig. So that's what that skid mark's from. So, but that's your basic system. When you come in for inspection for brakes, we check all that stuff. We check, a lot of people just think we just check the thickness of the brake pads and the condition of the rotors, and you just need brakes. No, it's not the case. There's a lot going into it. So when we say this is the condition of the brake pads, this is a good one. It's probably about 13, 14, 30 seconds. This one is good. We'd start recommending them. It's about 30 seconds thick. And here's where it requires, well, I wouldn't say immediate attention because in Pennsylvania, the legal limit is 230 seconds thick. So this is about 4. I recommend them around 4. So, and then also, while we do the brakes, we get that caliper bracket, we get it all cleaned up, we put new hardware on there, which is imperative. A lot of guys don't put this hardware back on there. They're all not like this. This is small. Some of them are, big shims and stuff like that. And they take off these rattle clips for some odd reason. These actually snap into the brake caliper itself and holds everything tight. So when you step in and release, and it's going with the caliper, not just going back and forth, or not just going out and then staying there when you release the caliper. Because the corrosion will hold the brake pads in and tear up the brake pad. Take our brake pads and the rotors. Now, when you lose your pedal, which we see a lot of, this is one of the things I'm coming around with. A lot, especially this winter, because they're throwing a lot of road salt down and stuff. Brake lines, metal brake lines, they're rusting. They give you no warning when they go. Like if a master cylinder starts to fade, you might have a spongy pedal, you get air in the system, or a caliper will start to get tight, you'll get a spongy pedal. If a metal brake line breaks, you have you step on it, sometimes you just don't have it, it'll pop and just go. So we check all the brake lines too, and for inspections and anytime you have any questions. And even with oil changes, us at Fletcher's Garage, we check everybody's brake lines all the time, and they'll say, look, it's not rotted through yet, but it's going to be soon, so something you might want to address in the next couple of months. And people appreciate that because it's safety. And I'll leave you with this: I can make your car run all day long, but stopping is more important than going. You have to stop. It's mandatory. So everybody have a great day, and we'll keep doing some more of these videos, and hopefully you enjoyed the breaks. And it was pretty thorough. And I'm going to go finish my sample. Enjoy your brake clean and your great day. Peace. There you go. I'm going to get you one that says WD-40, Craig. All right. Everybody have a great day.